Yeah. You know where we going? From my neighborhood, beautiful, colorful park there. Still a lot of snow on it, but Friday before the Sabbath, yours truly, rock and roll for the farmers, butchers, bakers, nurses, doctors, grocery store. We're gonna go from my neighborhood with the backpack on, got the red backpack on, got the red backpack on, got that red backpack on, and gonna go around the block, heading towards the mountain, my second home, Montreal, Belvedere. Conjure and act the moon. That's the moon there that you see. The moon is full until Monday morning. From today, about 2:44 a.m. in the morning, the moon was full, so that's what we gotta get doing with that, and that's the moon there. So that's quite beautiful how big it is, and it's gonna be full feast, 3-day moon feast of the moon for goddess, because I got a goddess. Today is still marking, celebrating 5 years since I had COVID. I survived COVID back between February 7th, 2020 and March 24th, 2020, the year 2020, between February and March. So gotta credit the goddess for me surviving COVID, and I'm celebrating today 5 years since I had COVID. I got triple vaxxed, 3 vaccines, and I kind of keep the protocols, for the public hygiene, super important. And as I go now roundabout for the Friday before the Sabbath commences, the Sabbath of the dancing goddess and the dragon kingdom begins tonight at midnight, past the second past midnight, it lasts until Sunday sunset, so almost 45, a little bit more than 44 hours for the recreation, rejuvenation, pleasure of the North American Collective, Canada, US. Let's tango together. I don't know about that 51st state, but I have been, advocating for a fusion to create a common passport, a common currency by the implementation of my DRT, debt refusion theory, and common defense, security, and service only policy, defense, security, service only policy, defense, security only, service policy. But I'm gonna do some drills next week. Gonna wear my new boots, military boots, and gonna do some drills maybe on the mountain around about the island, and potential for the establishment of the Dragon Army, for a new institution, and hypothetical Canada becoming the 51st state, and this Quebecer Canadian was born in the USA 3 times, past lives, past incarnations. You just gotta read George Patton through a glass darkly, and here I am with a backpack, got some food, thank you for the donation. And back to the reincarnation, of course, I was born a woman once in the United States post 1776, and twice a man, and served in the United States Armed Forces, 2 different wars, same United States Army. And we got to rock and roll together here, coast to coast, ocean to ocean. And I say I would have definitely voted for Biden or Kamala Harris, but the tariffs, there's an alternative, and just want to see President Trump sign some executive orders for raising the minimum wage and for the rebuilding of the North American inner urban cities, aka the ghettos of North America, got to be rebuilt. And we got a lot of work here to do in the North American Collective Civilization. It starts with my workout, training, and exercising right now. With the backpack, with the red backpack. In the backpack, there's some food. Thank you for the donations. And I got a little bit of food donated. There was lots of food in the fridge, Sometimes I film with that fridge, where people give and take, and that's where we were earlier. So I got some and I got the red gloves, and I got a red jacket, and the red gloves were gifted to yours truly by an anonymous friend a few years ago when I started challenging Donald Trump to a boxing match, and I still am on the Canadian-US border. Let's go to inaugurate, and I'm calling for the building of the North American Imperial People's Coliseum, a big Coliseum, arena sports facility complex, 11 times bigger than I still have to check where was the Harbor Bowl, aka the Blackout Bowl, where my 49ers lost to the Ravens. I gotta check which one was stadium, but 11 times bigger than that stadium. Let's build a Canada joint public-private partnership on the Canadian-US border for sportis in perpetuitas, sportis in perpetuitas, for sportis in perpetuitas, sportis in perpetuitas, for sports in perpetuity, for sports in perpetuity, for sports and fitness in perpetuity on the Canadian-US border, sports in perpetuity on the Canadian-US border, for sports in perpetuity on the Canadian-US border, meaning 24/7. Sports, fitness, recreation activities, and the first one will be Dragon versus Trump, me fighting Donald Trump on the Canadian-US border. And we have to annul the border. We don't need the border. We need to focus for security first. The ports and the airports best. The ports and the airports best. The ports and the airports best. That is yours truly, Rainbow Dragon's dictum. It's best we focus coast to coast, ocean to ocean, the ports and the airports, and make a great census. Canada joint United States. Great census, create a common passport, and integrate parallel as the European Union. My dream is fundamentally a call for a public-private partnership, a PPP, across the North American Civilizational Collective, across Canada, US joint, and basically fusing the North, here the true North, strong and free, with the South, because my brothers and sisters are that way in the United States, south of us, so true North, strong and free, with the home of the brave and the land of the free works well, I find. And that's not enough though. We gotta add to bravery and freedom, and of course strength. Canada's true North, strong and free. That's us in Canada. Got Canada tatted up on my arm, with that maple leaf, and true North, strong and free, with the home of the brave and the land of the free. We gotta both add some LOVE, some of that good loving. And on my way, before I started this video, I saw about 3 couples holding hands and kind of hugging and kissing. So I always get that encouragement because I see somebody making love in the free world, the rock and roll. Got some food in the backpack. Thank you for the donation of the food, and I'm excited. Somebody donated some pastries. I like my sweets, so that's gonna be my reward after I go a few hours, because I gotta clock in a minimum 4 hours. Well, I could clock less because I clocked in more than 4 yesterday, more than 5 the other day, and more than 5 the other day, and more than 5 the other day. So that adds up, because what I do, I have to average 4 hours minimum of marching per day per week. So if I sometimes miss, I gotta compensate. If I miss Monday to don't do 4 hours, I gotta compensate by adding on Tuesday and so on. So in other words, from Monday to Friday, I gotta do a minimum of 20 hours of marching. Between Monday and Friday, I gotta do, and I do, of course, minimum of 20 hours. Sometimes it's more than 44, sometimes it's more than 44, sometimes it's like more than 44, especially sometimes I go on that Saturdays also, so it adds up, and already today, before I started moving, it's like 2 hours already in my march, already 2 hours in my march already, me. So I already marched more than any general of NATO today, and in February, I gotta say, I marched more than the generals of NATO combined during COVID, especially during 5 days, during the past 5 years, and of course even last month of February, and marking celebration, for me. I survived COVID 5 years since I had COVID, back between February 7th, 2020, and of course March 24th, 25th, 26th of 2020. I had COVID and I survived it somehow. I created my surviving to the goddess, G-O-D-D-S-S, to the goddess. That's why I created my surviving COVID, and I gotta be grateful, thankful every day with that, and gotta get that gratitude in deep, so gotta be grateful, although financially stressed, but I'm grateful, thankful that my rent's paid, electricity bill's paid, got food and coffee. My rent's paid, electricity bill's paid, got food and coffee, got food, got coffee, rent's paid, electricity bill's paid, got food and coffee. And that's what we gotta do, always meditating geopolitics, Besides, my journey has been with more obstacles and closed doors and whatever have you, because of course fundamentally yours truly is and was. Of course, I have what's known as Asperger's, also known aka HFA, high functioning autism. So I'm different. I can be very weird, and being neurodivergent puts me in a neurodivergent position when I'm part of a minority of less than 1 percentile, less than 0.5%, less than 0.44% of the population live with this neurological mental divergent condition, which is known as Asperger's, and yours truly being an Aspie, having that mental divergent condition. I live with losing employments, and I had many employments and jobs opportunity over the past 5 years, but Aspies were less able in certain social circumstances, and you know, we always have to build bridges. Watch the car, guys. Watch the car. Gotta have my eyes on my fellow citizens like a hawk, H-A-W-K. You know, because there was green, and in the public I got added responsibilities, duties, and obligations. Added responsibilities, duties, and obligations, which I of course don't have under the normal circumstances of life. If I would have stayed in my underground room house and temple, I would have had less duties and obligations and responsibilities than I do now, you know. And now here I am marching and being joyous, and happy, content, but financially stressed, and you know, Aspies, there's a high unemployment among Asperger's because people with Asperger's were misunderstood, mislabeled as mentally ill, and it's not mental illness. It's just a neurodivergent condition. Our brains is made different, so where we can have our strengths, but also we are less able. We're less capable. Where certain things just, it's hard for us not to comply necessarily, but to do and to practice social norms and etiquettes in when to speak, for example, or you know, the personal space. When some Aspies, we have a tendency to get so close to the face that people get intimidated, you know, it's kind of maybe scared or whatever have you. And Aspies, we can be pretty intense, super concentrated, super focused, especially when we are involved, of course, in those things which of course make us of course our special interests, which are known as obsessive interest. Obsessive interest is a terminology which I don't use because obsessive is more a term for a negative term, you know, using obsessive, and I prefer using special interest. And I spend hours and hours a day on my special interests, many hours a day. Geopolitics, Monday to Friday, morning, afternoon, 24/7 to study the analysis of geopolitics and to rock and roll with that, and sports and fitness. But dancing is my favorite sport. Dancing is my favorite sport and fitness activity. I love to dance, and that's my special interest in rock and roll. And you know, that's about where we go with that. And geopolitics, geopolitical theoretical analysis. I'm an independent geopolitical theoretical analyst and theorist, independent Aspie, androgynous, pansexual. Got that double A, you get that 50-50. A mystic as well, believe in reincarnation. I mean, I know my reincarnation. Sometimes I was a priestess, farmer, priestess, warrior, priestess, or a goddess as I am today. Rainbow Dragon General Cuckold is also priestess of the goddess GODDSS, and I lay the foundations for the building, the first kingdom here, Canada, United States, North American collective with trillions of kisses, 718 trillions of kisses. I got credit from the forgotten goddess who threw me a kiss from the heavens starlit, and that kiss became trillions of kisses. So if you want kisses, I got by the trillions. So pledge your allegiance to our family to get some friends with benefits only. Pledge your allegiance to our family to get some friends with benefits only. Pledge your allegiance to our family and support the dream. The dream is fundamentally a call for a public-private partnership, across the collective North American Civilizational Collective to, of course, institutionalize two complementary covenant and cooperative institutions for the 21st century. That Dragon Army, the North American Integrated Security Service and Defense Legion. It's time for the Republic. The king is absent, and the North American collective, you know, and the DGA Dancing Goddess Army, the North American Integrated Dance League, 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 you know, that's how I gotta get doing on that, and that's how we gotta get doing, you know. So we gotta get doing on the XYZ, and sometimes we gotta get it on that LOV, you know. So it's something which we must do and see, and sometimes it requires doing on the dough. Singing some of that good rock and roll, always for the farmers, the butchers, the bakers, the nurses, the doctors, the grocery store clerks, for the fellow cyclists and truckers on the road now. Please, 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 strippers, give them a discount. Give them a discount. Give them a discount. Free lap dance for the truckers. And please, Wall Street millionaires, billionaires, finance and massage therapy sessions and spas and massage therapy sessions for the public workers of North America. The truckers, those who pick up the garbage, the recycling, those who pick up the garbage, the recycling, you know, the compost. That's work. That's arbeit. You know, so that's how we gotta get doing with that, and we gotta get doing on the go. So it's something which we gotta be doing, you know. Something which we gotta be doing with that. So it's something which we gotta be implementing, and something which we gotta be meditating on, you know, as we go on the go, and something which we gotta be mindful of, you know, being that civilization is a privilege. And, you know, the farmers, the butchers, the bakers, the truckers, the electricians, the plumbers, the construction workers, the bakers, all those train conductors, now truckers on the road. I wish I could afford a massage therapy session, but I took a bath, and I'm gonna take a bath. I'm gonna bathe over the weekend, special full moon bathing style, goddess priestess healing style, and immerse for more than an hour. So that's gonna be my replacement, compensating for not being able to afford a massage therapy session, but grateful that I'm gonna be able to take a bath, you know, long bath. So that's gonna be managing my soreness, because I live a very physically active lifestyle, very super physically active lifestyle. I mean, super physically active lifestyle, and always meditating now the geopolitical situation, being an independent geopolitical theoretical analyst and theorist who not only celebrates is surviving COVID, but also marks more than 5 years since in October, November 2019, more than 5 years now, 5 years and 4 months, or 4 months, more than 5 years already, since I have predicted an international conflagration. So I had predicted back in October 2019 that in the coming years, I set a time frame of about 7 years, and as I'm calling, of course, for the septennium, of course, that I celebrated I'm marking that fact that I have predicted an international conflagration. So I predicted, in other words, a World War III. So in many ways, since that time, October, November 2019, I have been kind of in a World War III type of mode. And of course, my predictions were based on several levels of deep analysis. But one of the main points was, or common denominator was, that due to the fact that you met many nation states, geopolitical regions, civilizations, were not able to fully resolve their 20th century conflicts, and that these conflicts are going to re-emerge, are going to restart in the 21st century. So if you look at the Russia-Ukraine situation, crisis, war, it is a conflict which dates from the Soviet era, from the Cold War era, from the 20th century, and it restarted decades later, right? So the dissolution of the Soviet Union in 1991, so I guess it kind of started in 2014, so we could say it started about, you know, like 25 years later it started, and in 2022 again. And Israel, Hamas as well, Israel, the Middle East, Israel, the Arab world. There are conflicts which date from the 20th century, which didn't find a final resolution. So these conflicts have re-emerged, right, with the October 7th. I mean, to assess all fully. I'm not on the ground in Ukraine. I'm not on the ground in Israel with 300 men or women or 50-50s like yours truly to assess. 50-50s, 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 50-50s with SYZ, and, you know, potentially on the horizon, the China-Taiwan. Their diplomatic conflict, tensions, potential to escalate into outright warfare, open conflict, dates from the 20th century as well. So all these conflicts went from the 20th century. So that was a major premise. Common denominator for my prediction of October, November 2019. Because I am an independent geopolitical theoretical analyst and theorist. I do that on the daily, that's what I do. Daily, I can spend hours sometimes, just hours and hours and hours, analyzing geopolitics back and forth. Quebec, French Canadian Quebec news outlets, Canadian CTV, CBC, and then CNN, Fox. I go left, right, and center because I'm a democratic Republican, a pro-labor love revolutionary centrism. My revolutionary centrism is tied hand in hand with my trinity of theories. The CIT, Citizen Integration Theory, the DRT, Debt Fusion Theory, and the DFT, the Democratic Fusion Theory. So my centrism is revolutionary, universal revolutionary, but it's also North American centric. Also for the North American civilizational complex, because I'm a Quebecer Canadian North America. Personally, this is my home. I do not consider myself a member of a diaspora. Personally, I do not consider myself a member of a diaspora. I do not consider personally myself to be a member of a diaspora myself, but I can be a citizen of the world. But pretty much the island is my experience in North America, fundamentally Quebec, Canada, Montreal, Quebec, Canada. And my own as an individual who lives with the scars with RA, retrograde amnesia, memory loss, and survived COVID and live with plenty of scars on my body and live with Asperger's, autism, and joyous, happy, and always love to work out, train, exercise. But now, of course, I am on the go discussing the geopolitical events and theorizing, which of course have been and will continue to discuss. And being an independent geopolitical theoretical analyst and theorist who has, of course, created a workout training program system designed, made, and created to go hand in hand with that World War III scenario. World War III scenarios have been, of course, and am still involved in the further workout training program systems, but that was one which I created and which I performed more than 372. I created it back in October, November 2019. I created that workout training program, which is officially titled the General War Integrated Total Body Training System, to go hand in hand with the World War III scenario. And much of what I predicted is kind of happening now, in many ways. I just got to be a little bit patient here for the people to cross on the safe side, so as the pedestrians, so here in the alley. I'm just passing through my own neighborhood here, nothing that I will to go back to. I used to live down there somewhere in a very moldy, it was like black mold and reddish green mold, and maybe that's what caused memory loss, because I have trouble accessing my memory to my life prior to me moving out of that place, so that's just, I moved out of there and was depressed, was suicidal, cross Canada, coast to coast, ocean to ocean in 2017. In 2017, I crossed Canada, coast to coast, ocean to ocean. So crossing Canada just changed my whole life. I established a strong esprit de corps with my fellow Canadians. I laid the foundation for a strong esprit de corps with my fellow Canadians, Quebecers, and my brothers and sisters in the USA. And Quebecers, Canadians are my family, Quebecers, Canadians, and my brothers and sisters in the USA as well, and that's it, what it is here. I'm just financially stressed. I'm always open for business, and besides that, I have great hope for the North American Collective, coast to coast, ocean to ocean. We have to start building 44 tunnels. We have to start building 44 tunnels. We have to start constructing 44 tunnels. 44 tunnels, 44, the number after 43, before 45 is 44. Just gotta watch it here so I don't slide. Before 45 is 44, so we have to construct 44 tunnels. In case of a thermonuclear war, we have to start building. And I have written a document called the Citizen Integrated Public-Private Partnership for the Rehabilitation of the North American Criminal Incarcerated Population, and my brothers and sisters who lose their liberty. Losing the liberty is pretty hardcore with that, so we got to get that rock and roll. So that's what we gotta get doing, you know. And here in my own neighborhood, I'm just gonna, nothing that I will to go back to, you know. I've lived for today, carpe diem, carpe diem, carpe diem every day, but I have hope for tomorrow. So nothing that I will personally, you know, to go back to. And you know, to go back, sometimes I know there's a tendency to look back as things were better, but because sometimes we suffer for a period, and I've struggled many years. And today, right now, this 14th of March, on this full moon, my scars, my retrograde amnesia, my memory loss, and of early childhood, early adolescence, and just remembering like kind of the past 7, 8, 9, 10 years. And after that, it's kind of like blackouts. Sometimes they come back, I guess, but it's just that proposition, which is something which I gotta get on the do with that, and something which I gotta be on the LOV, you know. So it's LOVE, you know, and live with my flashes of being attacked by surprise, falling, having a dislocated shoulder, being put on some medication from the hospital. I had to relocate my shoulder, fell, hit my head, and many other flashes of violence and unspeakable deeds, unspeakable acts, unspeakable deeds, unspeakable acts being committed against me. But that's LOV now, you know. We got to get that LOV. And somebody making love, I'm happy. Somebody making love, I'm joyous. And that's all we got to be doing here, you know. And that's what I saw before. And here, just passing by my own neighborhood, I'm not gonna go back to anything. I'm just gonna go around about it, and just gonna click it on, and we're gonna go through the road. We're gonna take a little bit of road on that way side, and then we're gonna snake it in up, and then we're gonna go by the parallel, you know. So that's just what we're gonna do, unless we go by the rich area, by the more economically, financially, commercially, and richer in the valuation of the housing, not necessarily by karma, eh? Karma or merit. And be careful. You got that gold, got that green, and gotta salute those truckers, firefighters, butchers, bakers, nurses, doctors, firefighters, truckers, butchers, bakers, nurses, doctors, all those involved, you know, in that production, the distribution of food. And I gotta send some LOV to them, you know. I always gotta send some of that good loving. And see the cars here, they're going north and south. They carry, and I used to live there, there, a few kilometers from where I live now. It's better where I live now. It's way better. It's a bit bigger, and there's no mold, although I gotta scrub it on the week. Oh, this week I just cleaned before I left. I cleaned the tub, I cleaned the floors, there was a lot of dirt, but I forgot to scrub, you know, because I gotta scrub, so I gotta put a little memo with that, you know, and sometimes it's just the reminder of having that, you know, because with Asperger's, sometimes we just focus so much on our special interests that we tend to neglect those other things which are part of life, you know, the other things which are part of life. Sometimes we tend to more get it on the neglect side, So here we are, we're going to go to this side, we're going to go to Queen Mary side this time, because last time we went through the more affluent, rich area, you know, that's where we went by. And here I'm gonna go a little change sometimes, you know, just snake it around a bit, you know. So because last time we went through Westmount, where that Westmount point, where of course the point of the Westmount is that of course it is more rich and affluent, like I said, in terms of the valuation of the market for the houses. So last week we went by that side, and I said now we're gonna go a little bit mounting on the more, whereas there's more people, I guess, more lights, and do a little bit on that different. And here I gotta watch when I cross the cars, you know, the cars gotta stop here. And sometimes you just gotta look left and right, see if they're gonna pass, and whatever the case is gonna do. But anyways, I used to live over there, and I remember just moving and from a very moldy place, black mold, red mold, greenish mold, and I was sick ill and cross Canada coast to coast. And 2017 in August, went to Vancouver, British Columbia in 2017 August, more than 7 years ago. And then in September 2017, I went from Montreal to Halifax, 25 hours and 44 minutes, more than a day by train. And to Vancouver in August 2017, I went from Montreal. I went all the way to Vancouver, BC, and of course it took 3.5 days. So that's all we gotta get doing. Sometimes you can just maybe go by this side here. Let's see. Yeah, I think we can go by here and then clock it in on the other side, and That's how we gotta get. I'm gonna see if I can go by this side. Yeah, I believe so. Anyway, so that's what I was saying, that I crossed Canada 2017. That event changed my whole life. I was depressed, I was suicidal, and that turned my whole life, that event. I started becoming more grateful and appreciated so many things. Canada is so big, so many things to see, to do in Canada. I had like a revelation when I reached Banff, crossing the prairie, meeting colorful people. And when I reached Banff, it was like, wow, just indescribable. And in Vancouver, I had such a good time and met new colorful people, and that just changed my life. I say, what a country. And I have a Canada tattooed with a maple leaf. I have the Canadian flag tattooed, basically, and the word Canada in it. But I don't know when I got it, probably decades ago, and I have many tats, I don't know. Just don't remember, it's just like flashes and blackouts. Sometimes memory comes back. Maybe COVID. I gotta check, because can COVID cause memory loss? Can COVID cause memory loss? Can COVID cause memory loss? Maybe COVID causes memory loss, stuff like that. And that's how we gotta get doing with the COVID. Maybe sometimes it's COVID-induced memory loss, maybe. I don't know. Perhaps. Maybe there's more cases who have lost memories. It's RA, which is called basically RA. Retrograde amnesia, RA, symptoms of retrograde amnesia. And I live with that. I live with Asperger's. I've been diagnosed for many years, though, by several people, and only about 45 months ago during COVID, I said, 93% of the symptoms, I'm an Aspie, so I got to live with Asperger's and live with some scars, lots of scars, not just some, actually lots of scars. And I live with the scars. I live with my geopolitics as a special interest, which preoccupies my whole day. And I'm an independent geopolitical theoretical analyst and theorist, and of course artist and athlete and philosopher and mystic, in whatever order you put. I guess you can put different orders for that and different orders to go. Maybe we can go around the bow here, and here we go for that, like a kind of like a snake, I guess. It goes like a trail, because that's the moon, so good a consecration for the moon a little bit. So that's what we gotta get doing on the love, to do on the doing, so it's something which we gotta be doing on the love, so anyways, we gotta get it on the, always to sing a little bit of that good love, so we gotta be mindful of that to get it on the do. So it's something which we gotta get on the XYZ, And here I got out of the way because they were with the dog, so I said best if I just move it, take a few steps. Besides, sometimes I bust a dance move, as you can see in the shadows, and I dance with my head, my feet. It's marching, dancing, dancing. I just have music, kind of that rock and roll 24/7, and I love dancing, and so sometimes I move, and I guess I can be labeled as weird and awkward and weirdo. I am, but I don't like violence. I don't like violence. I do not like violence, and I have, I guess, intensity. Maybe some. Maybe. I'm not sure. But I'm not. Maybe I don't know. Am I? Maybe too intense for some, not enough for others. I'll get tackled. 49ers, please. NFL, National Football League, NHL, National Hockey League, NBA, National Basketball Association. Please, reduce the cost of the tickets by 44.9%. The NFL, National Football League, NHL, National Hockey League, NBA, National Basketball Association, MLB. So the 4 major leagues, and please give some money to that PVHL, Professional Women's Hockey League. I wish I could get a shirt with the Professional Women's Hockey League. I wish I could get a shirt with the Professional Women's Hockey League. That's what I will to do, and that's what I will to get cooking on with that. Professional Women's Hockey League, and always something which kind of get on that meditation for the doing, and for us to do a little bit of that and a little bit of this. And sometimes we just gotta be grateful, gratitude, because all this civilization is a privilege, and gotta send some love to the Hydro-Quebec workers of the past also, 20th century, those who built the bridges, the highways, hydroelectric dams, to have electricity. And they're on the road now doing some work here and there, and firefighters with it, and the butchers, the bakers, the nurses, those flipping some hamburgers, some cheeseburgers now across North America, Quebec, Canada, US. We gotta get that fused, and gotta get rid of the border, make a great census to see and establish who's been living here since whatever the case may be, who's been living here since, let's say 2015, I guess. That would be a good one, since 2015, since 2015, or 2020 or 2017, 5 years or 7 years, and assess linguistics, and I'll be open to do a great census and implement my Trinity of theories, the DRT, debt fusion theory for the creation of the universal exchange unit. So that's how we gotta get doing with that, and the debt fusion theory is something which we gotta be doing on the now, and sometimes we just gotta be on the vision, because here we're taking so many for granted, so many things. And as I look at these buildings, and I call again to all willingly loving pledge your allegiance to support building I want to build 444 with the help of the construction workers, which I'm going to credit some kisses, hugs, feet washings, massages, and rock and roll with that. And that's how we got to get doing with that. And that's how we got to see people holding hands. That gives me a little bit of hope, and that gives me a little bit of that love, That's important. I saw that's also worth fighting for, I know the youth are going to make some love into the night this weekend. The Sabbath begins, so I will to get it a little bit of that North American People's Imperial Coliseum. We gotta get building the North American People's Imperial Coliseum, where the first sports event is going to be Dragon versus Trump. Me and Donald Trump fighting, and I have been and will continue to challenge Donald Trump to fight me in a boxing match on the Canadian-US border. I've been challenging since 2018, when Donald Trump first imposed tariffs on Canadian aluminum and steel. Gotta impose tariffs on Canadian aluminum and steel, and that's all we gotta get doing. That's all we gotta get doing with that, and that's how we gotta get open with it, and build the forgotten goddess temple, or the goddess temple of trillions of names, or the temple of the goddess of trillions of names, temple of the goddess, 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 temple of the goddess, forgotten goddess, and or temple of the goddess of a trillion names, and parallel vis-a-vis the North American People's Imperial Coliseum, the North American People's Imperial Coliseum, the North American People's Imperial Coliseum. That's how we gotta build the North American People's Imperial Coliseum as a structure for sports in perpetuity. Sportus in perpetuitas, for sportus in perpetuitas, for sportus in perpetuitas, for sportus in perpetuitas, for sports and fitness, 24/7 sports, fitness, and dancing. Dancing is my favorite sport, and create two complementary covenant and cooperative institutions: the DGA Dancing Goddess Army, and the Dragon Army, the North American Integrated Security Service and Defense Legion, pledge your allegiance. And the DGA Dancing Goddess Army, aka the North American Integrated Dance League, to dance for the environment, to clean the rivers, clean the oceans, clean the environment, and do environmental education, and of course not only environmental education, but dance for action, for pleasure and purpose. So for pleasure and purpose, you can incorporate joy when doing good. Super important to do things with fun, that's fun, and have a purpose as well, Purpose and pleasure, they can go together. So that's all we gotta get doing, And I wonder how much it is here to cost, and I'm not looking to come here, and just as a curiosity, as a curiosity for what it is, man. Here, how much it costs, something which is we gotta get on the cost and gotta salute those who pick up the garbage, the compost, the garbage, the recycling. And here we are, another one to rent, and we gotta get that housing dragging on me, the North American Property Reclamation Act and the several acts, you know. The king is absent, time for the republic. Look at the moon. The king is absent, time for the republic, and time for the republic. The king is absent, time for the republic. So that's how we gotta get doing on that. That's what we gotta get doing on that, and that's what we gotta get it on the do, you know. So it's something which we gotta be on the transmission side and on the love side with that moon. Kind of freaky witch. I'm not a witch, I'm a priestess. Gotta kiss it for the blessings, gotta kiss us for the less. See, so you gotta see to get it on that X, Y, Z, and the X, Y, Z. You see on the love to see, you see for the flesh and scarlet. Gotta go about it. So get that DRT theory. Now I'm gonna discuss the DRT. Super important to discuss it, but once again, grateful, thankful, rent's paid, electricity bills paid my phone, got food, thank you for the donation, the backpack. So let's rock and roll. DRT, debt refusion theory. DRT, debt refusion theory is my financial theory. I make the statement that it is the only solution, or something very similar which resembles my debt refusion theory is the solution. Why do I make that statement? Due to the fact that today, last year, 2024, the amount of interest which we paid on the public debt was 46.5 billion. 46.5 billion. 46.5 billion. Compute the number. A billion has 1,000 zeros. That's 46,000 million. 46,000 million. 46,000 million. 46,000 million. That's the number, 46,000. 46,000 million. 46,000 million, you know. That is just the number. So in 2020, 2021, the number was 20.3 billion. 20.3 billion. 20.3 billion. 20.3 billion. Double that number is 40.6. Double that number is 40.6. So 20.3 times 2 is 40.6. 20.3 times 2 is 40.6. 20.3 times 2 is 40.6. Right? 40.6. So the amount has more than doubled what it was in 2020, 2021 in the fiscal year 2020, 2021. In 2023, 2024, the number more than doubled. Yes, due to COVID. And I survived COVID. COVID for me was like death, pestilence, and disease. COVID for me was like death, pestilence, and disease. COVID for me was like death, pestilence, and disease. I know when I say that. For me, COVID was like death, pestilence, and disease. It sounds like a hardcore death trash metal song, like one of those trash metal songs, or name of an album of a hardcore trash metal death rock song. But that's how I felt. And I survived it. But yes, due to COVID, we had to implement across Canada, not just, it was global, international, worldwide. So, but Canada, of course, we implemented programs which had to sustain the population. So that's why the numbers have been skyrocketed. So that's a number that's huge, right? It's 20.3. The other would have been 40.6. So 46.5, 46.5. That is the number. And that number is a huge number. That's 46,000 million. 46,000 million. That's 46,000 million. So you got to keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. That's just a huge amount. Of course, you can check the numbers by yourself. Governor Bank of Canada, Tiff Macklin, my cousin or Auntie Freeland. Auntie Freeland is no longer Minister of Finance, but nonetheless, you can check the numbers. They more than doubled. Just the interest. So just the interest went from 20.3 billion to 46.5 on the Canadian public debt. You can check the numbers yourself. So don't want to be too alarmist, but on the horizon, there's a possibility for a black swan event. There's a possibility for a black swan event. There's a possibility for a black swan event. there's a possibility for a black swan event on the horizon. A black swan event. A black swan event. So being that that's a possibility for a black swan event, that's what it's gonna be with that. That's what it's gonna be with that. So that possibility is gonna be for a black swan event, and that's what we gotta get doing for the possibility of a black swan event with the public finances of Canada. Public finances of Canada. The public finances of Canada. The public finances of Canada. There's possibility in a black swan event is a terminology in finance for the worst case scenario in the financial event happening. And due to that fact, it's possibility that Monday it begins. You see in breaking news, public financial collapse. Canadian public finances collapse. Because it's obviously, if the interest only doubled in 3 years, while the GDP, you get it? The GDP, the gross domestic product, the economy of Canada has not doubled. It only increased 1%, 2%, even went in the negative. So just like on an individual, the financial mathematical principle of an individual who has to pay $156, let's say, who had to pay. I don't have credit cards myself. I have a credit line, so I don't have it myself. I don't have myself any credit cards, but if you do have credit cards, you know that both for Canada, US speaking, for the North American Collectif, Canada, US, very similar public and private financial situations we are in, both Canadians and my brothers and sisters in the USA. But if an individual's debt servicing, in other words, the interest that an individual pays goes from 156 to 333, from 156 to 333, from 156 to 333, because 156 double is 312. So if it goes from 156 to 333, then automatically, if the salary, his, hers, whatever, citizens, that if the salary of the citizen in question doesn't double, then cannot sustain that interest. He has to reduce the spending, cut the spending, reduce the spending, cut the spending, reduce the spending. Because how many salaries you know that have doubled? There has been a big labor movement, but average salary increase has been 4.4%. 4.4% in 5 years. In 5 years, from 2020 to 2025, it's 4.4%. It's 4.4%. That has been the increase. That's the increase in 5 years, average. So some has increased less, some salaries have increased less, some salaries have increased more. Some 5, 10, 15%, because in the past 44 months plus, during COVID, there's been a big labor movement, and look at the moon, so beautiful. You know, so there's no way out of this situation but my debt refusion theory, the DRT, which I'm going to discuss. So again, you can argue all you want, but what are we going to cut? It's Canadian public services, the garbage collectors, the sanitation workers who pick up the garbage, the compost, the recycling. We're going to cut them. The police, the correctional facilities, the prisons, the RCMP, the Federal National Police of Canada. We have to cut because the interest has more than doubled in just 3 years. And yes, due to COVID, but there's no way out of this. It's a possibility of a black swan event. There's no way out of this. You realize that it's not. We're on the verge of a bankruptcy with this, just like an individual citizen. The same financial mathematical principles apply in the context of a citizen. If the citizen's salary doesn't double, and know how many salaries have doubled, there at top you can see nice sunsets for there. If you go, you can see nice sunset. You can see across, you can see south, and you can see, of course, actually correction, you can see north, east, and west. From the other side you see south, but seeing south from the other side you can't see it that well. From the other side you can't see it that well, the south, but you can go up and there and you can check the sunsets. From there it's nice. If you're into that stuff, I go often to get it for the sunset, to get to see the sunset for that, and that's what we gotta get doing on that, and that's what we gotta get doing on the XYZ, and that's what we gotta get doing on the XYZ to do it now. So that's what we gotta get doing on the go and doing on the now, you know. So the DRT, that fusion theory for the creation of the UE, universal exchange, is the only solution, for that creation, you know, of the DRT theory, the death fusion theory, for the creation of the UE, the universal exchange. So that's what we gotta be doing, you know, with that. So that's how we gotta be implementing the theory. So that's what we gotta get doing with that. So that's what we gotta get doing on that. So wow, man. Stop. So the DRT, death fusion theory, DRT, death fusion theory, for the creation of the UE, the universal exchange unit. There's no way out of this, eh? You can argue all you want, but that's what it is, you know. So arguing, we're not doing anything at this point. We have to just implement it. Canada, US best. Canada, US best. Canada, US best. At the same time, paradoxically, to get it on the XYZ, and that's what we gotta get doing with that. So that's what we gotta get on the XYZ, to get doing on the XYZ for that, and that's what we gotta get doing, you know. So it's something which we gotta be doing, you know, and implementing across the North American collective civilizational complex, and so we have to be on the do, you know. So the debt fusion theory is the debt fusion theory, DRT. It includes monetary integration theory. Monetary integration theory is, of course, is the theory which was implemented in the European Union. 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 The European Union. So the DRT, debt fusion theory, DRT, debt fusion theory. The debt fusion theory. The debt fusion theory for the creation of the UE. So again, due to the fact that the numbers, the interest which is paid, which has been paid, and it's continuing to increase, and yes, due to COVID. But imagine just in 3 years, he went from 20.3 billion to 46.5 billion. That's more than double. Imagine as a citizen, he, she, them, whatever the case may be, if it goes from $156, which he has to pay in interest, to $333, then that citizen, he, she, whatever the case may be, has to cut, reduce the budgets, cut whatever expenses, cut buying liquor, buying legal cannabis. Cannabis is legal here, by the way, in Canada, coast to coast. Cannabis is legal. Cannabis is legal here. Cannabis is legal, you know. So whatever the case may be, stop going out to the movies, stop going out to buy liquor, stop smoking, stop cutting the Netflix, cutting the Disney, cutting the subscription, lowering the internet connection, lowering the phone, monthly fees, you know, for the phone plan. So it has to be some reduction in the case. There's no. There's no way out of this, my brothers and sisters. There's just no way out of it. There's no way out of this where we are now. There's just no way. That's it. That's all. You can't argue. The interest payments, the interest paid on the public debt of Canada has more than doubled. So just that fact, just realize that, you know. And the GDP hasn't doubled. It only increased 1-2%. It's a crying matter, actually, but just mathematically, curse of Asperger's, myself having suffered, struggled, you know, all sorts of sufferings and struggles and whatever the case may be. Suffered, struggled, whatever the case may be, the suffering, the struggle. The DRT, debt refusion theory. The debt refusion theory, DRT, debt refusion theory for the creation of the creation of the universal exchange unit. Best where we are now, you know. Where we are now is best. Where we are now, you know. The DRT, debt refusion theory. Debt refusion theory for the creation of the UE. The universal exchange unit, So my theory integrates monetary integration theory, which is the financial theory, which was of course implemented in the European Union. The Europeans, they destroyed their central banks. The Germans no longer have a national central banks. The Italians either, the French, they destroyed their own central banks and they annulled their old currencies, and now they have the common central bank for many countries. The multinational central banks, the ECB, function as a multinational central bank. So they no longer have, like we have, the Bank of Canada, which is a national central bank, and the national central bank, and of course the other bank. Federal Reserve system is kind of functional like a central bank or other central banks. They no longer have that in Europe. They have the ECB, the European Central Bank. So my theory integrates that. So calling for my debt refusion theory to be implemented first and foremost Canada, but Canada, United States, we're in a similar public and financial situation. So the DRT theory explains we're going to take all the public and the private debt, my 10,000 included, yours, whatever, coast to coast, ocean to ocean, all the public and the private debt of Canada, we're going to convert it into US dollars. So we're going to convert all the public, private debt of Canada into US dollars. All that debt is going to be the initial money supply for a new central bank. All that debt is going to be the creation, the money for a new central bank. The money in circulation for a new central bank is going to be all the public and the private debt. Coast to coast, ocean to ocean. With that money, public-private debt of all Canadians and Canada, converted to US dollars, we're going to add it with all the public and the private debt of the US. It could be extended because other countries are part of the North American Collectif. NATO also, it can be expanded, but focus Canada, United States first, Canada first. So all the debt, public and private debt, is going to be the initial money supply for this new central bank which we're going to create of the 21st century. Whatever we call it, the name is not that important. Is of course the principle that matters. North American Central Bank, whatever the case may be. And we're going to issue a new currency based on the value of the US dollar. Because that's why we of course change and do the we do the conversion basically. We do the monetary conversion from Canadian dollars to US dollars. And we create the UE. U dot universal, E dot exchange, U dot unit. U dot universal, E dot exchange, U dot unit. U dot universal, E dot exchange, U dot unit. The UE. U dot universal, E dot exchange, U dot unit. The UE. The universal exchange unit is going to have the value of the US dollar. We're going to put a 10% maximum 10% on all loans thereafter. It could be below 10%, but it could be no longer more than 10% on all loans thereafter. All loans thereafter. So it's going to be 10% max. It could be below 10%. It could be 3.33, 7.18, 4.18, 9.3, 6.1. It could be below 10, but not more than 10. So that's going to be the new financial system. This UE is going to be the new currency, the UE. And with that money, we're going to be able to mass finance the reconstruction of the North American civilizational complex's infrastructure, the bridges, the highways, the potholes, rebuild the infrastructure, mass finance citizens' fitness, because it does me some good, and blah, blah, blah. Advocating for the adoption of my workout training program system, which requires no equipment, into the high schools, and of course to mass finance citizens, tourism, because it did me a little good. So to go coast to coast, ocean to ocean, and of course Canada, United States join, Canada, United States join, Canada, United States. That's what we gotta get doing with that. That's what we gotta get doing for the love, So we're gonna also build 44 tunnels. The number after 43 before 45 is 44. The number after 43 before 45 after 43 is 44. 44 tunnels in case of a thermonuclear war, based on one theoretical paper of a few years back. The North American Citizen Integrated Initiative for the building and construction of massive tunnels in case of a thermonuclear war. I started writing about 7 years ago, and inspired those tunnels will be by the Cheyenne Mountain Complex. The NORAD headquarters is the Cheyenne Mountain Complex, and on the concrete, and by the Montreal Underground Village. So we're going to build those 44. The number after 43 before 45 is 44 tunnels inspired by those, and stack them with cans of sardines, cans of food, stack them with sardines, stack them with whatever needs to be stacked, and of course, so whatever the case need be, for of course the continuity, of course, to get it for the sardines and the food, the cans to have a shelf life of more than 3.5 years, more than 5 years, more than 7 years, more than 11 years, more than 44 years. More than 44 years. So we're going to get the North American criminal population who's incarcerated. We're going to put them to do some of that work. It's going to be their redemption. And I know I had plenty of second chances. I survived COVID, surviving COVID. And we're going to have to be celebrating some more by building those tunnels. And sometimes which we got to do with that. And, the king is absent. There's some voting there, some representatives, and the king is absent. It's time for the Republic. It's time for the North American Union. It's not the way to invite us, though. Not a way to invite us. Invite us with some pie baking, some marching bands, some trumpets, some singing, some trumpets, some of that good rock and roll. Invite Canadians to visit at a discount rate, or mass finance Canadians to go visit the 50 states, and vice versa. Those in the 50 states to come visit the 51st state for the Union of the North and the South, the Democratic Republic. It's time for the PPP, public-private partnership, common currency, my DRTT with the CIT, and of course to build on the Canadian-US border, the North American Imperial People's Coliseum, the North American People's Imperial Coliseum, the North American People's Imperial Coliseum, the North American Imperial People's Coliseum, and that's how we gotta get doing with that. We gotta get doing with that. So that's how we gotta get doing on the rep side, you know. Here we gotta unite Canada, coast to coast, ocean to ocean. We gotta get that LOV, and we gotta get it for the love, and we gotta get it for the XYZ, and that's how we gotta get doing here, and that's how we gotta get doing for the XYZ, and sometimes we gotta get doing on the love, you know. And love is important, and the DRTTarian we're gonna build the forgotten goddess temple, goddess of trillions of names, and my pyramid, scarlet, crimson, and scarlet are shades of red. The pyramid, house of the dragon, and the Rainbow People's Palace for my fellow LGBTQ community. Rainbow People's Palace for my fellow LGBTQ community. The Rainbow People's Palace for my fellow LGBTQ community. Rainbow People's Palace for my fellow LGBTQ community. Gotta get that rolling, and the biggest Coliseum 11 times. I still gotta check where was the Hardball Ball, aka Blackout Ball, one of my top 5 favorite Super Bowls, where my 49ers lost, but not by lots, by a small margin. My 49ers lost, and where the Hardball Ball, aka Blackout Ball, Hardball is actually the name of a surname. The Hardball Ball is named after, for the first time and only time, because there's been 57 Super Bowls, but there's only once there were two brothers met in opposition. Two brothers met in opposition. But sportsmanlike, right? They hugged after, although one had to lose, I guess. But not by much. It was pretty close. But I guess they reconciled. But the Hardball Ball, aka Blackout Ball, aka Blackout Ball, to get it on the do. So that's how we gotta get it on the do, and we gotta get it on the now, and we gotta get it on the vision, you know, with that, and we gotta get it on the love, you know. So that's what it is with the moon, and there we go for that Hardball Ball. Gotta check where it was played in the stadium. So on the North American People's Imperial Coliseum, to be of course 11 times bigger than the Coliseum, of which the arena where the Hardball Ball, aka Blackout Ball, was played. So let's start building that and finance with my DRTTarian the creation of the UE, the two complementary covenant cooperative institutions, the two complementary covenant and cooperative institutions, two complementary covenant and cooperative institutions, the Dragon Army, the North American Imperial People's Coliseum, the North American Imperial People's Coliseum, the North American People's Imperial Coliseum, North American People's Imperial Coliseum, and the DGA, the Dancing Goddess Army, the DGA, Dancing Goddess Army, this Dancing Goddess Army, DGA, Dancing Goddess Army, DGA, Dancing Goddess Army, the North American Imperial Coliseum, the Dancing Goddess Army, and of course the DGA for purpose and pleasure, and there, that's the barracks. Actually, it's like literally like a barrack, but it's kind of like something which we have to do, and that's kind of where the troops are. Somebody got to sing a little bit of rock and roll for the boys and girls in blue. The SPVM police, and I served in the police in a past life at the beginning of the RCMP, before they were known as the RCMP, and of course I served in the United States Armed Forces, previous past lives, and I was many a times a priestess of the goddess, and here I am now. I was also born as a Quebecoise and Quebecer. I met Louis in a past life, so I served a little bit in the SPVM, a bit past life, and once I was born a woman, but it wasn't we weren't really Quebec back then, right? It was Upper and Lower Canada, so it's like in 17. I was a servant. I was basically cooking and cleaning for the Coureur de Bois, who were doing the fur trade. So anyways, I get my past lives flashes for more than 7 years when I come to the mountain here, to the mountain. And here we are, you know, the full moon, and we are for the full moon now, and that's the military Canadian Armed Forces. It needs a little bit of color. It's a big gray. Is the caserne is called, so it's like a barracks. So gotta sing some rock and roll send some rock and roll and LOV for them. And you know, I don't like violence, but I would. The Dragon Army, the Republican Army of the 51st State, the Republican Army Legion of the 51st State, the Republican Army Legion, aka Dragon Army of the 51st State, and all the 51 states, and of all the 51 states, only 51 states will be that not ever, the Dragon Army will never be deployed outside of the 51 states, or maybe 52 if other joins, you know, if other, it could be growing in states, I guess, with revision, and we've got to revise a lot of things, and 21st century style, public-private partnerships. We got to give rehabilitation for the vets, for the homeless, to rebuild the North American ghettos, aka the inner urban cities, aka the North American ghettos. We got a mass finance in rebuilding the North American ghettos and build that coliseum for sports in perpetuities where high schools, universities can come, and high schools, universities can come and can get on that join, where high schools and universities can come and join, and that's how we gotta get doing with that. And I gotta switch a little bit of that French, you know, because you know where we be in that belle province. I'm gonna sing that bilingual afterwards and drive it down as you go, you know. So it's something which we gotta do and which we gotta see, you know. So something which we gotta be on the doors, you know, on the doing part, on the being part, and on the LOV, you know. So something which we gotta be on the do with that, and something which we gotta be on the love, you know. See, there it is, and you get my second home here, Monroe, my second home. We're gonna go to the Belvedere Cognac, but now it's time for a little bit of that French. Ready for that French, but first I'm gonna say my dear Titiri best and pledge your allegiance, our family. Pledge your allegiance, our family. Friends with benefits only. Pledge your allegiance, our family. And I do friends with benefits only, and that's all we gotta get doing with that. And a little bit of that rock and roll with it. And let me see the expiry date on this one. Maybe. Sometimes there's expiry dates. Yes. Expiry date. French, because we love your province, and yours truly, Rainbow Dragon, Adrian Hannah Dragon. Keep my name out of your mouth if it's not full blessing. Hope you have an understanding. Otherwise, let it be pestilence. Keep my name out of your mouth if it's not full blessing. Adrian Hannah Dragon. Otherwise, let it be pestilence. Keep my holy, sacred, and divine name, Adrian Hannah Dragon, out of your name if it's not for a blessing. Otherwise, let it be pestilence. French, because we la belle province. Et voilà, la pleine lune, québécoise, la pleine lune. Jusqu'à lundi. Votre dragon arc-en-ciel qui vous chante, je vous encourage à l'entraînement physique. Prêtez allégeance Légion, vous êtes famille, j'ai la chanson 24/24, votre artiste athlète. Monsieur, madame, 50-50, androgyne, pansexuel qui a l'Asperger's, l'autisme monofonctionnel, qui célèbre la célébration aujourd'hui jusqu'à fin de mars. Je veux dire, je célèbre, marque 5 ans. 5. Le chiffre après 4 avant 6, c'est 5. 5 ans depuis que j'ai survécu la COVID. Environ le 7 février, c'est des estimations, entre le 7 février 2020 et la fin de mars 2020, ça fait 5 ans, j'ai été vraiment malade pendant un couple de jours. J'ai eu la COVID, fait que j'étais vraiment malade. Je pensais que j'allais mourir, bien sûr. Je dis souvent, je suis mort, Je suis mort dans certaines manières, je suis dit souvent, mais je suis mort, mais je suis en train de renaître, Fait que ma renaissance se fait aujourd'hui, puis je viens de voir des gens qui se tiennent par la main, qui se donnent des câlins, fait que ça fait toujours du bien dans ces choses-là, ça fait toujours du bien voir ça, fait que c'est toujours un bon... Ça me donne toujours un espoir, tu sais. Fait que moi, depuis ce temps-là que j'ai eu la COVID, je vis au quotidien avec carpe diem, carpe diem, carpe diem, tu sais. Mais j'ai quand même l'espoir pour l'avenir. Fait que je pense que je suis convaincu que ma trinité d'intérêts, ben, de collection d'initiatives, puis bien sûr de théorie, faire l'implémentation pour ce que j'appelle le collectif du collectif de l'Amérique du Nord, parce qu'on fait partie d'un collectif de civilisation qui émerge, qui n'est pas divorcé de l'Occident, mais on a des distinctions en tant que Québécois-Canadiens, tu sais. Puis moi-même, je dis souvent, mais je suis Québécois-Canadien nord-américain, tu sais, c'est chez nous, c'est ma deuxième maison ici. Puis personnellement, je me considère pas en étant un membre d'une diaspora, tu sais, puisque mes réincarnations, des fois j'étais né homme-femme, des fois j'étais femme-homme, puis l'ancienne Égypte, prêtresse de la déesse des légions de Rome, légions de Rome jusqu'à maintenant, à Montréal, la pleine lune, une danse, pas besoin de chanter en latin, si vous me comprenez. Puis vous savez qu'avec l'autisme infantile, l'Asperger's, j'ai des intérêts spéciaux. Fait que ces intérêts, ça se passe 24 sur 24. T'sais. C'est vraiment 24 sur 24. Vraiment 24 sur 24. C'est vraiment 24 sur 24, ces intérêts spéciaux. C'est la géopolitique, l'entraînement physique, le sport, la danse. Et mon sport préféré, l'entraînement que je préfère le plus, c'est la danse. Fait que le sport que je préfère, c'est la danse. Et l'entraînement physique que je préfère, c'est la danse. Avec le rock'n'roll et la géopolitique. Puis je suis un analyste et théoricien en géopolitique qui marque aussi plus que 5 ans depuis que j'avais prévu la situation qui se déroule en ce moment, en octobre-novembre de 2019. J'avais prévu cette situation qui aura une conflagration internationale, soit une troisième guerre mondiale. Vous avez bien entendu celle-là. J'avais prévu qu'il y aura comme une guerre mondiale, dans le fond, une guerre mondiale. Comme une guerre mondiale. Puis c'est ça qui arrive, puis j'avais prévu pour faire un résumé, là, parce que ça a bien des détails, puis en profondeur, des analyses en profondeur, j'en fais au quotidien des fois, tu sais, je suis tellement dedans, concentré, intense, puis dedans, à cause de l'Asperger's, que c'est mon intérêt spécial qui appelle aussi ça, des intérêts obsessifs, mais c'est pas obsessif dans le sens du mot propre, obsessif, parce qu'obsessif, bien sûr, ben, c'est quelque chose que... Obsessif, c'est quelque chose que c'est comme une obsession, mais c'est pas vraiment obsessif dans le sens la terminologie. Obsessif, c'est plus négatif. Les Asperger's, comme moi-même, les Aspi, ceux qui vivent comme moi-même, une petite minorité, hein, je fais partie d'une minorité de moins d'1%, moins de la moitié d'1%, c'est 0,44% des gens du monde qui ont l'Asperger's. Donc, il faut les encourager, puis il faut qu'il y ait du soutien, parce que c'est pas des obsessions dans le sens négatif, parce que les Asperger, comme moi-même, on peut être très bon dans ce domaine-là. Mais c'est juste que, à cause de l'Asperger, puis comment on est, on peut être intense, mais malheureusement, dans certaines choses, l'étiquette sociale, quand parler, quand ne pas parler, la distance personnelle. C'est des fois les Aspergers, comme moi, les Aspi, on va se rapprocher proche du visage, tellement proche de la personne avec laquelle on communique. Fait que la personne, cette personne-là va avoir comme un recul, il va pas savoir, tu sais, exactement comment peut-être se sentir en danger ou des choses comme ça. C'est juste que notre cerveau, il est différent. Fait que ces choses-là, c'est plus difficile pour nous, le comportement social, les règles, les normes de la société, choses comme ça, là, tu sais. Fait que ça peut... Il y a beaucoup de confusion avec les Asperger, comme moi, il y a beaucoup de confusion, puis de malentendus, puis de mal interpréter que c'est... Beaucoup de gens ils pensent que c'est une maladie mentale. Puis c'est pas une maladie mentale, c'est pas une maladie pantoute, c'est juste une neurodivergence qui fait que notre cerveau est différent. Fait que nous, notre quotidien se passe aux alentours de ces intérêts spéciaux, surtout certains avec intensité, avec concentration, puis on peut être super dedans, comme moi quand je fais la géopolitique, j'analyse la géopolitique, mais je passe des heures des fois je me rends même pas compte, puis je dis waouh, ça fait depuis 9 heures, 3h30, 2 cafés, j'ai pas bougé, j'ai bougé un peu, je suis allé à la toilette, puis je fais avec intensité des révisions, je regarde les nouvelles du Québec, du Canada, dans l'anglais, dans le français, des États-Unis, puis d'ailleurs dans le monde, qu'est-ce qui se passe dans le monde, la géopolitique, parce que c'est des événements qui se passent tous les jours. Bon, fait en disant que je suis un analyste et théoricien en géopolitique indépendant, puis c'est ça que je fais au quotidien, puis plus que j'ai la preuve pour qu'est-ce que je veux dire, que j'ai prévu qu'il y aura une conflagration internationale en 2019, en octobre-novembre. Fait que depuis ce temps-là, je suis comme dans un mode, comme dans un style, comme dans un état d'esprit, comme si on serait dans la Troisième Guerre mondiale. Depuis ce temps-là, mais après ça, juste 3 mois après ça que j'avais prévu ça, moi j'ai eu la COVID. Fait que c'est pour ça que je célèbre aujourd'hui, parce que moi je pensais vraiment que c'était mon dernier chapitre. Je pensais that's it, that's all, rock'n'roll, je finis. Puis je dis souvent, je suis mort dans ma grotte de dragon où j'habite encore maintenant, ça fait une couple d'années que j'habite, puis j'habitais une place où il y avait beaucoup de moisissures, en Côte-des-Neiges, puis je m'en souviens juste avoir déménagé, j'étais en dépression, j'étais suicidaire. J'ai traversé le Canada en août 2017. En août 2017, je suis allé bien sûr à Vancouver. Je suis allé à Vancouver, bien sûr. À Vancouver, en Colombie-Britannique, en 2017. Puis après ça, je suis allé bien sûr, en septembre. En septembre, je suis allé bien sûr pour en faire un autre dans la même année, là, 2017, l'été 2017. Après ça, on est revenu, on a mis anonyme, puis on est revenu, puis je suis allé à Halifax, en Nouvelle-Écosse. Fait que cet événement, en traversant le Canada, j'ai établi un esprit de corps solide avec le Québec, les Canadiens. J'ai établi un esprit de corps solide, je vous considère comme ma famille, tu sais. Des fois, c'est sûr qu'on est dysfonctionnel, mais je vous considère quand même de ma famille, tu sais, Québécois, les Canadiens, puis les États-Unis aussi, puis d'un collectif de l'Amérique du Nord, puis bien sûr, tous ceux qui viennent nous rejoindre, tous ceux qui viennent nous rejoindre, tous ceux qui viennent nous rejoindre, tu sais. Tous ceux qui viennent nous rejoindre aussi au Québec, dans le collectif de l'Amérique du Nord. Fait que c'est des choses qu'il faut qu'on fasse, des choses comme ça, man. Fait que c'était un événement, ça m'a fait sortir de la dépression. Avant ça, j'étais en dépression, puis j'étais suicidaire, fait que c'était toujours des bonnes choses qui se sont passées de cette vis-à-vis, donc c'est des choses qu'il faut qu'on fasse, bien sûr, dans ces choses-là, mais c'est des choses que j'aime voir, c'est des gens qui se tiennent par la main, puis des couples comme ça, mais c'est des choses, bien sûr, qu'il faut qu'on fasse, tu sais. Fait que c'est des choses qu'il faut qu'on regarde dans l'esprit de vivre, tu sais, la bonté puis l'amour, c'est important, tu sais. Ça me donne l'espoir de voir des gens en couple, tu sais, puis j'aime ça faire le matchmaking. Moi, ben, faut que vous ayez 18 ans, premièrement, hein. Je pense que c'est légal 16 et plus, là, mais moi, je vous mets à 18. Alors, vous voulez me faire l'amour noir et blanc, homme-femme, je suis androgyne, pansexuel, monsieur, madame, 50. Non, mais si vous voulez me faire l'amour, vous faites l'amour bien comme il le faut, mal avec un rock'n'roll, mais je vous carte, hein. Je vous carte comme l'alcool, comme si vous étiez en train d'acheter du cannabis légal, là. Si vous n'avez pas 18, je vous envoie... Comme on dit en bon québécois, je vous mets un coup de pied dans le cul. Un coup de pied dans le cul. Un coup de pied dans le cul. Non, j'aime pas ça la violence. J'aime pas ça la violence moi-même, mais c'est des choses, bien sûr, qu'il faut que je fasse moi-même pour les faire dans cette mangée de situations de la bonté, tu sais, puis c'est important d'avoir de la justice, mais, tu sais, moi, j'ai souffert beaucoup à cause de l'Asperger, j'ai plein de cicatrices, j'ai la perte de mémoire, je pense que c'est peut-être la COVID, la moisissure, où j'habitais, il y avait beaucoup de moisissure noire, puis vert, puis orange, bien sûr, pour ça fasse la moisissure dans ce point de vue d'interrogation, mais ça revient des fois, je sais pas, ça a-tu des liens avec la COVID, parce que je l'ai eu la COVID, je célèbre avoir survécu la COVID en 2020, fait que c'est toujours des choses que je me demande des fois, c'est-tu à cause de la COVID, c'est-tu quand j'ai des flashs de mémoire d'avoir été attaqué par surprise, j'avais le bras droit disloqué, j'étais allé à l'hôpital, j'ai été mis sur le médicament un couple de jours, j'avais mon propre épisode de pirate silicien, fait que c'est des choses comme ça qu'il faut qu'on fasse dans cet interrogatoire ici, qu'il faut qu'ils viennent, puis s'amusent ici sur la montagne, j'aime ça les voir. Fait que je veux discuter maintenant de la TRD, c'est important, de la TRD, de la refusion de la dette, hein, pour en faire la TRD de la refusion de la dette, tu sais. Et voilà. Et rien, c'est que la TRD, théorie de la refusion de la dette, c'est super important que je la discute en ce moment parce que c'est la seule et unique théorie qui peut ne pas sortir du connaît dans la situation de la géopolitique et aussi dans la situation financière. Pourquoi je dis que la TRD, théorie de la refusion de la dette, c'est la solution qui peut nous sortir du connaît rendu avec les finances publiques. C'est quand l'année passée, on a payé 46,5 milliards. 46,5 milliards, 46,5 milliards sur la dette publique, c'est 46,5 milliards. 46,5 milliards, c'est 46 000 millions, 46 000 millions, 46 000 millions. Fait que c'est 46 000 millions qu'on a fait, bien sûr, qu'on a fait des 46 000 millions, milliards, c'est à 9 zéros, fait que 46 milliards, c'est qu'on a payé sur la dette publique. L'intérêt seulement qu'on a payé sur la dette publique. L'intérêt seulement qu'on a payé sur la dette publique. L'intérêt seulement pour la dette publique, c'est 46,5 milliards. 46,5 milliards. En 2020-2021, le montant était de 20,3. 20,3 fois 2, c'est 40,6. 40,6. Fait que ça a plus que doublé si vous faites de la connexion. C'est sûr qu'à cause de la COVID, oui. À cause de la COVID, pour en faire, bien sûr, pour en faire de la COVID, pour en faire que la COVID, ça a causé, bien sûr, qu'on aille ce propos, bien sûr, dans cet environ de la proposition que je vous dis que la TRD, c'est la seule et unique solution, quelque chose qui ressemble à la TRD, théorie de la refusion de la dette. Donc, je vous l'explique. Parce qu'il n'y a pas de solution. Imaginez que l'économie canadienne n'a pas doublé. Si l'économie canadienne aurait doublé, ça aurait été correct, mais c'est le fait, bien sûr, que ça n'a pas doublé. Là. En tant que citoyen, si l'intérêt que vous, elle ou si quelqu'un paye, c'est 156, mettons, de 156 $ en 333. Ça veut dire que c'est plus le double, plus que le double, comment c'était, bien sûr, pour la dette publique-privée, pour que ça fasse, bien sûr, pour l'affaire, que ça soit, bien sûr, dans ce point de vue. C'est pas un point de vue, parce que les chiffres mathématiques, le calcul financier mathématique, ben, ça reste quand même même si on a des émotions, des opinions, mais ça fait que l'intérêt qu'on a payé sur la dette publique, ça a doublé. Vous pouvez faire des vérifications avec la Banque Royale vous-même. Donc, de 20,3 milliards, c'est allé à 46,5 milliards. 1 milliard, c'est à 9 zéros. Fait qu'on a payé 46,5 milliards. 46 000 millions sur la dette publique. Juste l'intérêt qu'on a payé, c'est quelque chose, bien sûr, qu'on a payé de 46,5 milliards. C'est 46 000 millions, ça. Donc, la TRD qui contient la théorie d'intégration monétaire. La théorie d'intégration monétaire, tu sais, on va prendre toute la dette publique-privée. On va faire une conversion, puis il faut qu'on fasse l'implémentation à travers le collectif nord-américain. À travers le collectif nord-américain, tu sais. Parce que le Canada et les États-Unis, on est dans la même situation financière quand même. La même situation financière. Fait qu'on va prendre toute la dette public-privé, incluant mon 10 000. Puis encore une fois, on n'a pas le choix, hein, parce qu'on est en train d'avoir un effondrement financier public. Fait qu'on va prendre toute la dette publique-privée. Toute la dette publique-privée, on va faire la conversion dans la devise des États-Unis. On va rajouter, on va faire avec les États-Unis, ramasser ensemble. Puis toute la dette publique-privée du Canada, convertie dans la devise des États-Unis. On va faire l'addition avec la dette des États-Unis. Puis on va faire la création d'une nouvelle banque comme on fait en Europe. Puis on va faire la création de l'unité d'échange universelle. U.unité, point échange, point universel. U.unité, point échange, point universel. UI. On ne se sera pas en anglais, c'est pareil. UI. U.unité, point échange, U point universel. U point unité, point échange, U point universel. L'unité d'échange universel. U point unité, point échange universel. U point unité d'échange universel. Avec cet argent-là, on va pouvoir faire, bien sûr, une requête, puis avec cet argent-là, on va pouvoir refinancement de l'entraînement physique et du tourisme. On va financer, bien sûr, les tunnels, la création, bâtir 44 tunnels, 44 tunnels, pour que ça fasse fait des choses comme ça. Puis on va faire de l'entraînement physique, et puis les tunnels qu'on va faire, bien sûr, c'est cet entraînement physique pour en faire de ces choses qu'il faut qu'on fasse, rebâtir l'infrastructure, les tunnels, ça, c'est des choses comme ça qu'il faut qu'on fasse. Et c'est des choses, bien sûr, qu'il faut qu'on y travaille dans ce point de vue pour la TRD, théorie de la refusion de la dette, théorie de la refusion de la dette, théorie de la refusion de la dette, you know? Fait que c'est des choses comme ça qu'il faut qu'on fasse ensemble. So. La TRD, théorie de la refusion de la dette, la pleine lune, c'est quelque chose qu'il faut qu'on fasse dans cette beauté quand même. Toute beauté, la pleine lune quand même. Oh yeah. Oh, power. There we go. Et voilà. White. No one. No, it's forced. C'est dans les Hey, there we go. We're gonna go down now. We're gonna go down. So that's where we saw, and now we're gonna go dribble on that rock and roll. Get ready. And we go down and down. Came to the top. Favorite skyscraper. Rock and roll consecrated. Consecrated. That's it. That's all. There we go. There we go, as we go now. Ready, gotta consecrate. Full moon, going down now, down. Made it to the top, came back down, gonna come back again and again for many years. Headquarters, dancing goddess in the dragon kingdom, dancing goddess in the dragon kingdom, and gotta go in the back tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm gonna come forget that scepter is there in the back, and I'm gonna come touch it a little bit on a day. It's just a wood scepter, but get ready for that rock and roll as we go down. Freestyle, French and English rock and roll from the dragon trance. Consecrate this mountain, came to the top. That's my favorite skyscraper, full moon, and in the back is the scepter. Kind of looking, watch. Let's go, get ready. Let's go, get ready for that rock and roll, you know. For that rock and roll, you blow. For that rock and roll, you sow. For that rock and roll, you go. For the XOYZs, you gotta kiss it, that's what I said. Firefighters, butchers, nurses, doctors, flipping some of those cheeseburgers. Make some sandwich, you know, that we got. Kisses and those hugs, you know we got a kiss and hug. Gotta make out in back in the woods, you know we spit it and die. Rock and roll rainbow as I go all the way, kisses for my homos. I play black and white and rainbow. You know that I go, I want to hear the drums, I want to hear trumpets. Let's go, F-16 in the airs, let's go. Left, right, and purple, a lot of give it left. Right and see my demon. You know that I see the lights. City for the traffic, city for the left, city for the right, city for the zone, city for the blow, city for XYZ, so that you know. City for the show, city for the crow, for the full of crows and the hawks, you know. On the downward mountain, on the slopes, on the road I'm going down, that you see up in the dark, that you see up in the lights, see up in the sky. Gotta get back to my headquarters, cause I'm coming back, that's that maybe tomorrow night, and that's Sunday, that's the Saturday, for the left or right and kiss. I gotta get back to the headquarters, cause you know I gotta miss, for the left or right and this, you know that I love to kiss. Kiss and hug and kiss. You know that I love a bliss and lights and stars and satellites. I'm the sky, that's the moon. So you know that I gotta go up and down as soon as the lights. Sing for the freestyle. Rainbow dragon, rock and roll it. For you know it, up and hold it. For you know it, up and hold it. For you know that that's to hold it. For the goddess kisses. For the goddess lips it. For the goddess with it. For the goddess with it. For the goddess whip it. For the goddess, that's the kisses. For the goddess, that's the kisses. For the goddess, that's the kisses. For the goddess, that's a blissed. Blessing on the hits that you see. For the rainbow, that's the harmony. That you go up in the toes, that you go up in the nowhere, that you go up in the grow. Up in the rock and roll, up in the show. Rock and roll up in the dough, rock and roll up in the dough. Rock and roll so you know, rock and roll so you blow. Rock and roll, rock and roll, rock and roll, rock and roll. And you know the hits be tall and you know the hits be cold. On the mountain that's a snow, on the mountain that's a rainbow. It's just me, that dragon, rocking that roll on the road as you see on the hits and the lick and the this, Mister General for the army. That's the please, rainbow dragon, rock and roll it. So you know I've been upset it. So you know we've been said it. So you know we finger bled it. So you know we finger said it. So you know we finger left it. Left and right and purple. Left and right and circle. Left and right and circle so that you know that you hit it. For the left and right and beat it. Beat it. So you know that you can kiss it when you go up in the rainbow, in the dark, in the freezer, and the spark. Hey, no, when you go up in the dark, ain't no up in the lights. Where we go up in the sight, where we go up into night. That's the start of the Sabbath, coming dead at midnight. I got it all, I got food, I got some sweets and got a look. I got a plate and got a book, got a plate and got a shook, got a plate and got a look. Looky at the moon goddess. I'm a priestess rainbow dragon. I'm that priestess rainbow dragon. Go about it. That's retarded when you sing it. That's about it, all about it. Shake those hips and all the twerk it. Kiss my rainbow big booty. I got it for the generals only. Black and white, but Julius Caesar only. Black and white, but Julius Caesar only. Black and white, but Julius Caesar's only. Make that plural with me. Make that rock and roll. You know that I hold it. I got it rounded. If you want to kiss it for one piece, you better free to do it. For the left and right, have a drink and have a sight. Have a left and right and have a drink up in the side. The body holy, that's a right. That's consent. You need consent for loving. You need consent. Super importantes. Super important. You gotta get it. Super important. You gotta get it. Super important. You gotta kiss it. Super important. You gotta see it. Super important. You gotta be it. In the woods, in the dark, in the woods, in the sparker. On the mountain, on the slope, on the mountain, on the go. That you see that rock and roll. On the mountain as I go, on the mountain that you know. Going up and down the road, going up and down the road. That's the south we're heading for. Up and above, you're gonna see the lights. Gotta see the lights on the mountain that you see. I gotta switch it to that French, cause that's just me. Et de la montagne, la pleine lune, les arbres qu'on danse des chatouilles. Chatouille dans le sauvage, sauvage, pas de danse, oui, la tarte, ça pique la champagne que je célèbre. La marque, la renaissance pour la COVID avec le rock'n'roll. La danse québécoise dans toutes les frontières qui s'avancent les forêts. Sur la montagne des pierres, des roches, de bouger des fesses. Les pierres et des roches, bouger des fesses, bien la lumière, le Québec. Les Québec, bien bâtiment de centrale. Pas comme un animal, ça sent le raton laveur qui danse, les chauves-souris qui regardent. C'est pas bon, le dragon, l'arc-en-ciel, ah oui, non. Les orteils. Les orteils. Pas d'horreur, les orteils, ça bouge comme les serres. Comme les serres sans fer, comme les serres sans en fer, comme les serres. C'est les arbres que je parle, c'est les arbres qui me parlent, c'est les arbres qui te parlent. Pas conjugué dans le bécherel, c'est la pleine lune à la déesse, ça fait du vin que ça bombe, ça bombarde. Ben ça bombarde, ben que ça danse. Ben du fromage, ben la danse, ben ça lance. Ensemble, québécoise dans la transe. Que ça fasse tous ensemble, les pieds et les mains d'un coude, les mains et les coudes d'un nez, ça bouge, la bouche, la fesse. Ça s'appelle le twerk, puis ma tante a dit, qu'est-ce que c'est ça? C'est pas de la danse! Ça offense, et la vieille, arrête, c'est vous autres, vous avez de la révolution tranquille, ça vous gêne pas bouger, twerk. That's a Quebec rock and roll, man. 24/7. That's a little bit of comedy, you know. When I get that rock and roll in French, it's got a little bit of humor here, you know. We're Quebecers, Canadians, you know, a little bit of comedy here, you know, comedy. It's like comedy, you know. Let's go. Who's on the road? Truckers, firefighters, butchers, plumbers, we're the welders, we're the nurses, we're the doctors. Hey, strippers, gotta put some work, don't be so greedy. If you already made that 50, give a discount to the trucker. And you know they gotta eat, cause you know it ain't all about Wall Street. Full moon, I gotta kiss her. Gotta spin and hit her. Gotta cement the concrete jungle from above up in the mountain. That be coming out and louder. I got those beans that you for. I got the beans and what you score. I got the beans and what you look for. I got the beans and what you see for. I got the seas. I got the seas. I got the shadow. Got the bees and got the trees and got the hawks and got the squeeze and got the love and got the spark and got the love has got an art. I got the love and that's an art. Whoopah, that's the goddess. That's the fart calls me limb dick. I say cuckold. I don't mind cause I'm a woman. I'm a woman, I'm a man, you get that 50-50 what I said. Priestess of the goddess, that's the thunder killer regardless. Firefighters, butchers, and the bakers. Somebody gotta sing it for the boys and girls in blue. You under arrest for not loving me enough, that fool. You under arrest for not loving me enough, that fool. You under arrest for not loving me enough, that fool. Gotta sing it for the go, gotta sing it for the go, gotta sing it for you know. For the up and down you go, for the up and down you harmony, for the up and down you see, for the up and down you be. Oh, I went in the water, but I didn't wet my feet, didn't wet my feet. That's a miracle that you see. I went deep in the water, but didn't wet my feet. Gotta give a soul and feet. Gotta give it more and heat. Gotta give it more and heat. Gotta give it more and beat. Gotta give it more and heat. Gotta give it more and lip. Gotta give it more and sip. 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 Gotta give it more and look. Gotta give it more and see. Gotta give it lights and bees. Gotta give it lights and trees. Gotta give it lights and squeeze. Gotta give it lights and bees. Gotta give it lights and trees. Gotta give it lights and heat. Gotta give it lights and seas. Gotta give it lights and kiss. For you know the rainbow, please. For you know the rainbow trees. For you know the rainbow squeeze. That's the rainbow that you see. That's the moon in harmony. That's the rainbow that you see. That's the moon in harmony. So you know we gotta get it. So you know we gotta have it. So the left and right retarded regardless. For the goddess that you see up in the sparks, you know we have it. You know we live it. Bricks and bricks, you know the sea. Bricks and bricks, you know the sea. Bricks and bricks, that's my favorite skyscraper. That's the pyramid that you see. That's the pyramid that you see. Sometimes it's red and green. That's the green. Red and green. Red and green. Red and green. For the Sabbath that I sing. Red and green. That's my favorite skyscraper that you see. That's the moon. I gotta go. I gotta hit the road. Cause you know I got a story and it ends. I gotta still rock and roll. For my house is Rainbow Dragon, that's the headquarters, still far from here. T'es encore loin jusqu'à chez nous, encore 2 heures. Like 2 hours from here, my place, 2 hours from here, about 2 hours. About 2 heures d'ici, so I still gotta get that rock and roll from here to my place. Out west, dans l'ouest, c'est quand même encore 2 heures de plus, so hey, my marching rock and roll dance is far from over, but you're probably gonna see until about another half hour from now. Peut-être vous allez voir encore plus que la moitié d'une heure, là, la moitié d'une heure, mais c'est quand même, vous n'allez pas voir plus que ça, mais c'est sûr, bien sûr que c'est des choses qu'il faut que vous fassiez vous-même dans ces circonstances de la conférence pour en faire des enjeux que moi, c'est quand même ma marche qui va loin quand même, pour en faire jusqu'à chez nous, c'est quand même un bout à faire jusqu'à chez nous. Only away in my house, so my house is something which, of course, it takes a long time to get there. It takes a long time to get there from here, but that's where I gotta go down a little bit of steps, you know, so gotta give a little bit of that rest, and there's a little bit of that traffic lights, and gotta sing a little bit of for the boys and girls in blue. Pour les hommes et femmes en uniforme, de personne n'est parfait, moi-même non plus. Nobody's perfect, that includes that me and you. So you know I gotta sing it, so you know I gotta see it. Somebody gotta sing it. For the boys and girls in blue, ain't nobody perfect, that includes that me and you. So that we see, for the lights and the bees, for the lights and the trees, for the full moon that you see, for the kiss up in the harmony, gotta swing it on the ropes, gotta sing it on, you know, gotta sing it so you know, gotta sing it so you flow on the floor, gotta sing it sometimes, for the boys and girls in blue, ain't nobody perfect, that includes that me and you, gotta sing it 4 times, ain't nobody perfect, that includes that me and you, it includes that me and you, gotta swing it for the butchers, for the bakers, for the nurses, somebody gotta say some LOV, ain't nobody perfect, eh, we still got work to do, but ain't nobody perfect, that includes the boys and girls in blue, that includes that me and you, ain't nobody perfect, that includes that me and you, and the bus drivers, all those bus drivers, the cars, the truckers, the butchers, the bakers, the nurses, the doctors, and the firefighters, all those involved in the distribution and the production of food, all those, of course, on the road now. I gotta be waiting for a little traffic light here. Maybe I press it until it changes. Sometimes it doesn't change often, but am I gonna go to change it with it? So it's gonna probably change now. I'm just gonna be patient here. Wait, careful. Gotta wait for the car to pass. And sometimes you never know, you know, it's better just to wait, because sometimes the cars might press the accelerator fast, and whatever the case may be, you know. In this corner, I know the corner sometimes is more difficult in the corner there, but sometimes it's a more difficult corner. But of course, if I would have been police officer, I would have gave a warning. I wouldn't have not given a ticket. So just be careful next time, because, you know, there's cars which can, you never know, you know, they turn, I guess. But I wouldn't give a ticket as police. I would always give a warning. I said, I'm giving you a warning for your fellow citizens to be prudent, because it's a tough corner to see, because they can come from here and you can't see that they can come actually from there as well. So that's why I advise here a little prudence. They can come from one side, two sides, and even a third side here, although that side is a bit on the on more that side. So three sides which can come to go here, right? Because this is basically, this turns into, so this what's happened, this turns into one way, so this one here turns into one way there. So that's one way, and that's one way. So that's one way, right? That's just one way. That's why when you cross here, keep in mind that that's one way, and they can come from that side, this, see, from there, like that, or they can come from there like that, or from there, from three sides. So that's why I advise prudence at that corner, even though, you know, you gotta take a look, whatever. Rock and roll on the toes as I go for the downtown, you know. We're gonna give it for the X, we're gonna get it for the X, we're gonna get it for the right, we're gonna get it for the love. We're gonna get it for the butchers, we're gonna get it for the bakers, we're gonna get it for the those. I've been the firefighters, you know, we gotta sing it for the fire, we gotta sing it for the fire, we gotta sing it for the Messiah. We gotta sing it for the do, we gotta sing it for the you. We gotta sing the melody, we gotta sing it up in harmony. And you know we gotta sing, and you know we gotta be. And don't mind me, I'm just an aspie who loves that rock and roll all the time as I go. Rock and roll, sports, fitness, dancing is my favorite sport and fitness, and geopolitics, that's my holy trinity of special interest. And I enter in rock and roll trance, you know, avec l'Asperger, c'est trois intérêts spéciaux, ma sainte trinité d'intérêts spéciaux qu'on appelle l'intérêt obsessif. C'est le rock and roll, l'entraînement physique, le sport. L'entraînement physique puis le sport que je préfère, c'est la danse. Puis bien sûr, la géopolitique. Fait que, on y va, let's go. Get it for the road, get it for the road, as I go up and down so that you know. I'm just freestyling, by the way. It's all freestyle. C'est tout en mode libre. Hein? C'est en mode libre, just like, I just channel rock and roll, you know? So keep in mind, don't copyright, like I'm a financially struggling artist, athlete, philosopher. Je suis en crise financière, fait que tenez ça en compte que, tu sais, c'est du mode libre et en création artistique, là, sur libre, là, que je vais mettre sur YouTube, là, mais, c'est comme d'autres, tu sais, ils mettent de la création, puis ils mettent ça comme sans frais sur YouTube, fait que, quand même, tu sais, juste crédité quand même, si. Il y a de quoi, just credit or finance, book me up, you know, for freestyling, man, you know, freestyling rock and roll. So that's what you gotta get doing, you know, with that. Let's go, give me some of that rock and roll. Hit the road as I go on the toes. You gotta give so you go. You gotta give it so you know. You gotta kiss so you know. You gotta give it so you know. Rainbow gotta kiss it so you know. Rainbow gotta kiss it so you know. Rainbow gotta kiss it so you broke. Rainbow gotta kiss it so you know. So you kiss it so you froze. Just so that you know, I don't wanna play games. I just wanna slay. I just wanna dance. I just wanna kiss. I just wanna trance. J'aime pas jouer des jeux, juste le rock and roll, la danse, les bisous, les câlins, les chatouilles. Oh yeah, just so that you know, yo. Gotta kisses for you go, gotta kisses for you do. Gotta kiss it for you know, gotta kiss it for you know. Gotta kiss it so you know, gotta kiss it so you blow. Gotta give it so you know, gotta give it for you love, for the love and for the kiss, for my children, that's a bliss. They're happy, I'm happy, man. They're happy, I'm happy, I guess, you know. That's what matters, you know. They're happy, I am happy. Let me see what you got. Sing a good song, beloved. Yeah. No, here, take. Here, take one. Anyways, yeah, what you got? What you got? Yeah, I gotta keep a quiet moment. Yeah, somebody else was singing. I kind of like it, but I guess it was a few lyrics. Gotta kiss and hiss and kiss. Gotta lips and lips and lips and gotta listen to all the kisses. So you know we've been the moon and you know we've been the soon and you know we've been the swing man. You know we've been the kisses. You know we've been the kissing. And you know we've been the XYZ and so we gotta sit for the snake on left or right, for the right and purple. We're gonna kiss it as you go. We're gonna kiss it so you know. We're gonna kiss it so you throw. We're gonna kiss it so you blow. We're gonna kiss it so you sold. Just so that I'll let you know. For the moon and for the sight. For the moon and for the right. For the moon and for the lights. For the moon and for the stars. For the moon and for the lights. Barbers and the butchers and the bakers and the nurses. Gotta sing firefighters. Les pompiers, les boulangers. Les infirmières. Gotta get it for the kiss. Gotta get it for the rainbow kiss. Kiss and hiss. Gotta get it for the love. Gotta give it for the left.
One spin or not? No, not. The other end's on?
Gotta give it for the do. Gotta get it for the X. Gotta get it for the do. Gotta get it for the XYZ. Then you so you know you're me. Gotta kiss it for you see. Gotta kiss it so you be. Gotta kiss it so you leave. Gotta kiss it so you me. Gotta kiss it so you be. Gotta kiss it so you see. Gotta kisses, that's the me. Rainbow dragon, that's you see. That's you see. For the X and Y, them black and rainbow. That's the construction workers on steel toes. When they going up trees. That's the master, that's the pleaser. That's the trees. That's the master, that's the pleaser. And those are the trees that you see. Ça chante bien la danse, ça fasse bien ensemble. De la danse, ça avance, les mains et les jambes, la ceinture, serre, mes chers. Wow! Mud lip freestyle, 24/7. Rock and roll, 24 sur 24. Le rock and roll. And here we go, man. Atop the mountain. Came, went. Now we're back in the concrete jungle. On est de retour dans la jungle urbaine, la gauche à la droite quand on traverse. And, you know, that's south surrounded by an island. Montreal surrounded by a big island. L'île de Montréal, entouré d'une grosse rivière. It's the island of Montreal, you know, surrounded by big rivers, you know. So that's that we got to do with that, and that's that we got to get on the going, you know. So it's sometimes which we got to be on the advice and on the love, and so somebody holding hands, and that's always double good for me. Je viens de voir quelqu'un qui se donne des bisous puis se tient par la main. Plusieurs personnes aujourd'hui avant le sabbat, before the Sabbath. So that's always good for me. So I love to make that matchmake, you know. The moon and the sun. J'aime ça faire le matchmaking, mettre les gens en couple, mais si je suis capable, parce que tu sais, c'est des choses que je dois vivre avec. Look at the building, that's the red house. Reddish house, I got a reddish house. Gotta sing it, that's a louder. Gotta sing it, that's a louder. Not so loud, I gotta whisper. In the ear, gotta kiss. Shake her hips to this. When I whisper, that's the pleaser. I gotta say the flavor lips. Flavor lips and shake those hips. That's the rainbow apocalypse. On the lips, hey. Faut des fois que je chuchote. Comme l'amour de la marmotte. Dans les oreilles des Québécoises, la lune boue. Bisous, boue, ça boue. Y a pas de boue, regarde, c'est juste les nuages. Yeah. That's that rainbow dragon rock and roll 24/7. For the farmers, butchers, bakers, nurses, doctors, grocery store clerks, railway conductors, public bus drivers, now thinking about them. Those driving some of those subways, metro systems, you know, in the subway. pour les infirmières, les camionneurs, les boulangers, ceux qui préparent la nourriture, puis les camionneurs, ceux qui sont bien sûr dans le travail de la sanitation publique, sécurité publique, puis le travail public, puis bien sûr dans le transport public, hein, les métros, puis le système de métro, ceux qui conduisent, les conducteurs de train, les chauffeurs d'autobus, puis ceux qui sont en train de conduire les métros, hein, le système de métro de Montréal. Tu sais. Faut penser toujours des choses comme ça, puis des choses qu'il faut qu'on aille pour la faire dans un système, tu sais, dans le collectif de l'Amérique du Nord. And somebody making party tonight. For me, Sabbath begins at midnight. Le sabbat commence à minuit, ça dure 45 heures, quasiment 44 heures. So. Après minuit, une seconde, samedi jusqu'à dimanche. So. That's the Sabbath of the dancing goddess in the Dragon Kingdom. Ça, c'est le sabbat de la déesse et du dragon qui danse, you know, pledge your allegiance to our family. Prêtez allégeance, les gens, vous êtes famille, you know. I feel good, and that's where we were, atop there. Now we're still kind of on the mountain, but we were all the way atop there, so. Montreal, 2.5 million city, hey, is a metropolis, like a small country. C'est comme un petit pays de 2.5 millions, hein, dans le fond, c'est la métropole, la deuxième ville, la plus peuplée de l'Amérique du Nord, hein, so. Big city, big island, Hawk Island, H-A-W-K. My totem bird, the hawk, my totem bird, the hawk, my totem bird, the hawk, and that's how we're rolling, you know. With it now, I'm heading back west, and I'm a few kilometers from my place. I'm gonna go like a snake on the side, because I want to be close by the moon to do some rituals, some chants to the moon goddess, you know. The 156 for my 93 gang, you know what's up, and want to be Thelema, time to be a lightning, and always encouraging all the workout, train, exercise, and I'm gonna take a bath tomorrow, probably gonna rest, and gonna see if I got some, I gotta get some sausages, because I got some potatoes, des saucisses, puis je vais boire, pour les faire, you know, so that's what I gotta be doing here, crossing the street, and kind of looking at the moon a little bit, and boy, that smells like a vape, that smells good. I think somebody's smoking some vape, maybe somebody with a car passed. It just smells, you know, smells interesting. I like that vape smell. I don't smoke myself, but it kind of smells like a powerful vape. Ça sent comme le vape, tu sais, le vape que moi je fume pas moi-même, mais c'est ça que ça sent, tu sais, on dirait quelqu'un qui fume du vape. Mais je sais pas, moi je fume pas, mais I don't know. Is it healthy though? I suppose it's got nicotines, but ça a la nicotine quand même, mais je sais pas exactement, tu sais. C'est-tu bon pour la santé ou pas, you know? Is it good for health or not? Maybe. I don't know. Mais how does it compare with cigarettes? I gotta check because I don't know much about it. Je connais pas plus sur les vapes là. J'en ai trouvé un bon rouge l'autre jour. Un bon rouge, mais je l'ai sauvé, il était en train. Ça a été écrasé par les automobiles, là, mais il était fonctionnel après. Mais j'ai pas inspiré, je l'ai nettoyé avec le désinfectant. So, I found one the other day, red one. I took it because it's my favorite color. I wanted to see what it was. I saved it from getting crushed by a car. And I cleaned it, disinfected, and I tried it. It still worked very well actually. So I don't think it was used that much. But I don't know how does it fare against smoking cigarettes. You know, I'm like a comparison of health. I guess it varies maybe from vape to vape or company to company. Je pense que ça varie de vape en vape, mais de compagnie en compagnie, c'est des choses comme ça qu'il faut que je fasse moi-même. So that's what I gotta do with that. So here I always admire the buildings, skyscrapers, construction workers, getting on the love there. I wonder when this was built, it needs some color. Ça a besoin de couleur, and I see somebody else loving a little bit. Yeah, the moon, and the lovers a little bit there, and I don't mean to. Sometimes I stare at things or at weird things because pay attention aspects with several things. If on regarde des choses bizarres, mais que je vois la lune, c'est so that's what it is with that, and that's what we gotta get doing, you know, and we gotta be on that traverse, you know. So it's something which we gotta be mindful of, you know, here, being here on the go and being here on the now, being here on the go. So It's something which I gotta be mindful of, you know. Here is something which we gotta, you know, anticipate and make on that love. And here's another beautiful house, which is here, you know, and that's what we gotta get. Oh, is this a consulate? Swiss consulate. Le consulat de la Suisse is the Swiss consulate there. Swiss, it says Switzerland. I think so. I can't see that well, but that looks like the emblem of the flag. Yeah, I believe so. Let's check. Oh yeah, Swiss consulate, consulat de Suisse. It's what's happening in Switzerland. Interesting, you know. That's how we gotta be doing, you know. So we gotta be on that go with that, and sometimes we just gotta be doing on the XYZ, and we gotta be on the love, you know. So something which we gotta be on the XYZ with that. So you know, we gotta be on the lookout sometimes, you know, because when we visit the place here, and here's another, but this is not a consulate. This is not a consulate. Past lives, past incarnation, d'autres vies, d'autres réincarnations. It's like that joke. You can't trace your mothers all the way back to ancient Egypt, all the way back to ancient Egypt, all the way back to ancient Egypt. C'est comme une petite blague, genre, tu dis, tu peux pas retracer la mère de 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 ta grand-mère de ta grand-mère de ta grand-mère en arrière dans l'ancienne Égypte, dans l'ancienne Égypte, dans l'ancienne Égypte. Mais les pyramides existent encore. Right? The pyramid, it's amazing how the pyramids there is how they're still colorful, inside just thousands of years. Imagine, they were built 2,500 years before Rabbi Jesus. Il était construit 2500 ans avant Rabbin Jésus. 2500 ans avant Rabbin Jésus, you know. We gotta get it on the XYZ, so that's what we gotta do. And sometimes we just gotta be with that, you know, and be mindful and meditate for the love, you know, and for the butchers, the bakers, the nurses, the doctors, and that's why we gotta cross the street here, because I love this. I just love this little one here. I just love this one here, you know, for that XYZ, and that's what I gotta do here. I gotta turn my head left and right, and this is what we gotta be doing, see? I love this one. Is just, I would paint it, give half for me, half for my anonymous friend. I don't know if there's anybody living here, but I share this with my anonymous friend. Je pourrais faire la moitié avec mon ami anonyme, mais ça a besoin de couleur. Oh, unless it's some other, what is it exactly? C'est une maison, 5, 3, 5, 3, 4, 3, 5, 3, 4, 3, 5, 3, 4, what though? Well, this is actually Guy, right? Guy, Guy. La rue Guy, on va checker. 3, 5, 3, 4. I wonder, there's just something special. Il y a quelque chose de spécial. C'est comme ça me fait penser à un conte de fées. It makes me think of like a, you know, fairy tale. Like a fairy tale, you know, like a fairy tale. So that's what we gotta be doing, you know, and we got things which we gotta do, and it's quite a big. This one I also like a lot. This one feels more like a resort though. Ça a l'air comme plus comme d'une place où on habite, tu sais, comme une habitation de quelque part, tu sais, que ça soit dans quelque part de la même, comme tu sais, sur une plage genre penser à ça. Ah non, c'est pas Guy, it's not Guy, it's Côte des Neiges. It's not Guy, c'est pas Guy. Guy, mais Guy, c'est dans le fond, Côte des Neiges, ça devient Guy. I believe so. Côte des Neiges becomes Guy further down. So the name changes from Côte des Neiges, see it's Côte des Neiges, it goes down, up there, and then it becomes Guy there. Ça commence, ça tient Guy. C'est ça qui arrive. Côte des Neiges, ça devient Guy. Côte des Neiges, ça devient Guy là-bas. Côte des Neiges becomes Guy like that. Goes like that. That's what happened. So, Côte des Neiges, ça devient Guy. Côte des Neiges, ça devient Guy. Côte des Neiges, ça devient Guy. That's what he's got to go doing with that. That's what we got to go doing with that. So, that's what we got to master, man. The changes of the names of the street, you know, because they're lengthy, long streets. Côte des Neiges goes for kilometers, miles. Côte des Neiges, c'est bien des kilomètres quand même. C'est une longue rue, tu sais, c'est des longues rues comme Sherbrooke aussi. So that's what we gotta get doing with that. And so we gotta get doing, you know. C'est des longues rues quand même. C'est une longue rue. Comme Sherbrooke, Sainte-Catherine. And they're long streets, so we gotta turn our heads here. You know, we're downtown now from the top of the mountain. See, we still go down. See, it still goes down. Vous savez, fait que la montagne, the mountain starts to goes up. Montagne, ça monte. The mountain gotta get it for now. The mountain gotta get it for now, you know. So that's what we gotta get doing with that. That's what we gotta get doing with that, you know. So we gotta get it on that XYZ, you know. And something important which we gotta get doing, man, you know. So we gotta be on that circumcision, on that mindfulness that now still goes down, and the river is there. The river surrounds Montreal. La rivière, ça entoure Montréal, hein? C'est une grosse rivière, énorme. The big river surrounds Montreal, you know. So we gotta be mindful of that. And if we go down further, we go by the river. Si on descend, on descend la montagne. On descend la montagne. On descend la montagne. On descend la montagne. On descend de la montagne. So that's why we gotta get XYZ, you know. That's what we gotta get doing with that. That's what we gotta get doing with that. And that's the moon. Ça, c'est la lune, see? So it's something which we gotta be meditating about, and we gotta get it on the go, man. Faut qu'on fasse encore quand même un bout d'y aller chez nous. Hein. Give a little bit on that XYZ to do, to get it on the go, you know. So something which we gotta hop up in. And here we are, you know. Gotta get it on the go, and that's what we gotta get it, you know. So we gotta get it for the temple. That's why I will to build the Forgotten Goddess Temple, you know. The Forgotten Goddess Temple, and that's what we gotta get doing with that, and that's what we gotta get doing on now, you know. So something which we gotta build the North American People's Imperial Coliseum, and North American People's Imperial Coliseum, we gotta be building it. So, you can smell fragrance so much. That's a good one. massage poco. Similarly. Good ones. Τον massage. Oh yeah. I'm gonna go cross to the lights, you know. I'm gonna go cross to the lights like we should. Chill for me. Nice. A mess. Oh yeah, that feels good. That's a workout. It's un entraînement physique. Vas-y, connais. C'est connais. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, feels good. Feels good. Now I feel so good. Just getting hungry, really hungry. Really. Koreans. Never. Never come to me. So hello with me. Yeah? Yeah. Yeah. Another round of rock and roll on the table. You're ready. Let's go get the feet up. Get the feet up to get it on the XYZ. XYZ, to get it on the XYZ. XYZ. Gotta kiss it, that's what I said. Gotta kiss it, that's what I said. Gotta kisses, that's what I said. For the left and right, a rainbow. For the left and right, a rainbow. We're gonna play it as you go. We're gonna play it as you know. Gonna play it as you go. Love a ride a rainbow, ride a rainbow, ride a clock. Tick and tock, and that's the hawk. For the moon, and that's the spark. For the moon, and that's the spark. That you know how to park. Parallel on the go, parallel on the parallels. You know the concrete jungle, that's the singer. Sing a bling, and it's Friday before the Sabbath. Gotta say it, gotta kiss it, gotta say it, gotta pray. Sometimes gotta left or right. On the feet, go about it, do a dance move. Show me something, baby, retarded. For the lesbians, for the homos, for the straight and loving rainbow. Gotta watch it for the black ice. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. One last rock and roll song. Ready? Let's go for the rain. Let's go for the pain. Gotta kiss you up. There we go. Gotta get it for the X. Gotta get it for the right. Gotta get it for the left and right. Gotta get it for the rights. Gotta get it for the XYZ. Gotta go for the road, for the butch. Gotta get it for the XYZ. Gotta get it for I said. For the blues. Gotta get it for the blues. Gotta get it for the dudes. Gotta get it for the youths. Oh yeah. Oh, heading back to headquarters. I'm gonna feel that tomorrow. I'm gonna take a bath. I gotta get it on the go, get it on the no, get it on the lanes. Let's go. Let's get ready for that rock on the road. On the road as I go. Full moon. Well, this was and already before I started, the recording was, it was like an hour, 2 hours in almost. J'étais quand même, depuis que j'ai commencé à filmer au début, c'était déjà plus que 2 heures. J'ai commencé à filmer après que j'ai commencé ma marche, quand même 2 heures après. Fait que ça va faire encore 1h30 si jusqu'à chez nous, another hour and a half. So that's gonna clock in about 5 hours maybe. No, I think it's about maybe close to the Sabbath, which is at midnight. Let's go rock and roll. One for the road. Rock and roll the sound of loving. Loving with some fucking, what's the fucking difference? Gotta sing up in the fuck, gotta sing up in the what? You're getting closer to the Sabbath, so you know I gotta let it loose up in the tongue. Loving and fucking and loving and fucking and fucking and loving and loving. Fucking and loving and loving and fucking and fucking and loving and fucking. Black and white on rainbow, you know that's what's up, go. Et l'amour que ça danse, pour qu'on fasse des bijoux, ben qu'on plombe que ça dise, ben qu'on plombe les plombiers, ben la marchandise, ben les plombes, ben les lumières, ben les plombes, ben regarde. C'est l'amour que je fasse des feux d'artifice. Pas d'argent, pas de violence, et je veux rien savoir. Ah oui, des pompes à l'entraînement physique, pour que ça recule, l'air recule qui bouge des pierres, bouge des fesses. Let's go. You gotta sing. Sing up in the swing. You don't gotta bling. Bring. Pain or not, you sing and fling. Sing and fling and sing and flick and flick and sing and dee. You know that I gotta be on the loose and on the go, on the loose and on the go, on the loose the corny show, on the loose the corny dough. Hey, that's a little bit of that rockin' that road on the road as I go. West for the headquarters of the dragon, that's what's up. And the lights, you see the lights, and the lights up in the lights. Satellites were up in the sky, up in the altitude, up in the die. 20,000 feet up in the sky, that's the lights up in the blinking lights up in the sky, and the moon up in the light. And the moon up in the light. Hip and paradise, hip and paradise, hip, don't throw some dice, don't gamble, that's no. And you know we gotta even, that's the score to do, you see. For you know we harmonie, pour que ça soit encore une danse, pour que ça fasse bien les fesses, pour que ça bouge bien, regarde. Des bisous, ben ça plombe, des bisous, ben ça laisse. Et des feux d'artifice pour que ça danse. De chez nous de la belle province, let's go for the dance. You know that's we holding trance, you know that's we holding lance. Got food, got coffee, grateful, thankful. There's the mountain. Now heading back to my headquarters. Right there at Renouveau, getting back to headquarters and auctioning everything that I'm wearing. Even the underwear, a million. The backpack, red backpack, has some food in it, has some food in here. For me and my friend. Pour moi et mon ami, j'ai la nourriture dans mon sac, puis C'est là qu'on a été, la montagne qu'on a passé, that's where we were. The Mount Royal, and there's the moon, and now we're heading back to the headquarters. Heading back to that headquarters, still got about an hour and a half. Preparing me to go, so here's we're gonna end it with that here.